Hello interwebs! I am not sure if this is recording because I have never recorded a video on this computer, so let me check. This computer is very confusing. I don't know why record is under import media on iMovie. I really like the old iMovie. I wish I could have my old iMovie that I used back in high school, but that is not the point of this video. The point is that I recently, today actually at work, I got my Ancestry DNA results back, and I didn't want to open it at work because I felt weird about it, so I'm going to open it now. Okay, let's try this again because I was having some technical difficulties with my camera. So anyway, I got my Ancestry results back, and it says I am 72.8% Sub-Saharan African. 56.8% of that is West African, broken down even more. 23.2% is from Nigeria. I think that's like a huge percentage to be from one specific country. So I think that's kind of cool. That's almost like 1/4 of my DNA is from Nigeria. Going down even more, 14.8% is from Ghana, Syria, Liberian, and then going down even more, 6.2%, it says Guinean. 12.6% is broadly West African, so somewhere in Africa. And then 10% is from Southeastern Africa, which is kind of vague terms. Southern East African, broadly Southern East African. Okay. And the Congo. But they don't say specific countries there. And then beyond that, and this is just like 0.2% African hunter-gatherer, which is another broad term. 0.1% Northeastern East African from the Sudan. 5.2% broadly Sub-Saharan African. So yeah, that's cool. Going down from there, 25% of my DNA is European. I'm surprised at that because I think that's kind of high, even, well, not really. I heard that most African Americans have like 20% European DNA, mostly related to like obviously the rapes that happened during slavery times, which is really sad. Um, but yeah, I'm a little surprised that it's like 1/4 of my DNA. Um, and that is Northwestern European, which is 20.9%. Broken down from there, I'm 12.8% British and Irish, 2.8% French and German, 4% Scandinavian, and 5% broadly Northwestern European. So that's another vague term. Going down from there, I'm 1.5% Southern European, which is Spanish and Portuguese and broadly Southern European. And then I'm 2.6% broadly European. Going down from there, I'm 1.5% East Asian and Native American. And I find that really interesting because I've always been told by my family, like, we have Native American ancestors, but I also feel like I've heard that a lot of people say that, but they don't actually have Native American ancestors. But apparently somewhere down the line I did have Native American ancestors. So let's see what it says beyond that. It says Northern Asian and Native American, which is 0.7%. Native American, 0.7%. So it must have been like, I don't know how long ago that would have to have been. And 0.6% is Chinese and Southeast Asian, which is 0.4% Filipino, 0.1% Indonesian, and 0.1% Chinese and Southeast Asian, which is a very low percentage. But that's also interesting. that somewhere down the line there's a Chinese ancestor. Um, Beyond that, it says broadly East Asian and Native American, 0.1%. Then it says trace ancestry. We detected traces of the following populations in your DNA: broadly South Asian and unassigned. There's a wide range of human diversity out there, and sometimes our algorithm can't pinpoint a region of your DNA. So 0.3% of my DNA is unassigned. Because I heard there was a way to see, like more specifically, instead of just this is your percentage, like this is when that percentage got into your DNA, like how far back each percentage is. And I kind of want to see that, but I don't see that on here, so I'll probably have to play around with the site a little bit more before I find that. But find this very interesting. So I'm gonna have to tell my friend who's from Ethiopia that no, I'm not Ethiopian because she told me I was Ethiopian. Apparently I'm Nigerian. At least 24, 23%. In addition to other West African places. I really don't know much about like my family history beyond the people I know in my family. I don't even know really much about the people in my family who live outside of Indiana. Um, so yeah, I think that's a little weird because I know that a lot of African Americans don't know that much about their family history, but I feel like my family knows less than like even other people I've talked to. Um, but I have seen some pictures of distant relatives, and I'll see if I can find them and maybe add them to this video. Also, what was I gonna say? Have you ever had a thought and it just went out of your mind, completely gone? Bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. In addition to just the general not knowing of the family history, I do know that my grandpa on my mom's side, he was adopted. So we don't really know anything about who his father was. My dad's father passed away when my dad was young, and that's pretty much all I know about my grandpa on my dad's side. I know a little bit more about my like my grandmother's, um, but yeah, I don't really have that much information regarding things on the like father's side down as well. Found the thing that I was looking for. I just had to keep scrolling. And apparently I don't pay attention past where it looks like the page stops. But it does show you a breakdown of when each like when each part of your DNA was introduced by year. Um, so it says for the Nigerian percentage, which is the most recent actually, it says you most likely had a grandparent, great grandparent, or second great grandparent who was 100% Nigerian. This person was born between 1870 and 1930. So, if that's true, if I have a grandparent or great grandparent who was literally from Nigeria, why don't I know this? Um, and it could be that my grandpa who was adopted, the person was from Nigeria. I don't know. Or maybe it's not true. But grandparent, great grandparent, that's very close to the present. And it says this person was born between 1870 and 1930. Um, and then you can go back even further and see the years of other things. Um, and the British and Irish was actually between 1840 and the 1900s, which shows that that probably was not consensual. Um, and then the other things like Native American, that was actually oh, and French and German was between 1840, 1750, um, and so is the Native American DNA. And this is just so fascinating because I'm reading these words, but I'm just thinking of like the stories of all these people and like what their lives were like. Um, I've actually been reading the book. Well, I need to finish reading it. I finally got the audiobook, so I will finish it, Kindred. And I read half of it in book format, and I just started the audiobook, so I will actually finish it. But it's about a lady who time travels, and she goes back and meets her ancestors. Um, and it's really interesting. Um, so yeah, and like the furthest way, if you go all the way back to like the 1720, that is when I have South Asian, Filipino, Indonesian DNA, and Spanish. So I have some like great people, um, really far removed, who were from those places. But the Native American was actually um, closer than that. So I'm guessing it is Native American and not Asian because they kind of put them together earlier. Um, so yeah, that is more about me. It would be really cool if like older members of my family took a test like this, because whenever I see videos of like people doing ancestry tests, it's always like millennials or Gen Z people. But you could probably get even more specific if you let the elders do so. So yeah, that's something to think about. Maybe got to get some of my grandparents to do this. Okay, well, that's all I would like to say. Um, have a lovely, lovely day.